SofM, sorry, will be in the jungle as Tank takes to the mid lane with Martin and Jiezou in the bottom lane as AD carry and support.
Yeah, and sticking with Martin, you know, Crystal seems to be back in that sub position, something that Snake really haven't been able to make their mind up with over the last year, honestly. And you can see with that lineup, it wasn't going great until they added SofM Fish, but this young kid from Vietnam, he's got a bright future in competitive League of Legends. He's a monster.
He had an absolute stellar performance in the game against Newbie. You know, Snake picking up their first win this split of the LPL, looking a little bit rejuvenated, so to speak, and they're probably hoping to continue this one with a win against Saint here, who have been struggling, you could say, so far in the LPL.
Yeah, they certainly has. As I said, I reeled off the 3 teams they've played. They've played class so far, but yet again, that isn't an excuse. They were able to pick up a sole victory over IG in map 2, still went down 2-1. So this is a team that, you know, they have the experienced players like Acorn on their lineup. They've got some new blood in there like Captain, like Snoopy that they expect to step up. But they really need to start doing it now because a couple of weeks, sure, that's not a big deal. You get to the 0-4, 0-5 mark as an LPL team, you're starting to sweat.
And we're going to have a look and see what their lineup is coming into their first game of tonight. It'll be Acorn up in the top lane with Captain in the jungle. Snoopy will be in the mid lane. styz and Siu will be in the bottom lane as their AD carry and support. Chimin and Otto will be sitting on the bench as their substitutes.
Yeah, so we'll see whether Otto gets any more games. Sticking with Snoopy for at least the start of this. And I do feel like this gives them a well-rounded top side of the map. They're supposed to be a smarter team, right? You've got Acorn, you've got Captain. They should be able to jungle path, try and get styz ahead, who has been touted as one of these great young Chinese AD carries, but just hasn't fallen into place yet. But we're waiting for that penny to drop, right? This is a team, as I said, they've all just been come together, Saint, new organization. They're one of those revenge teams, and they need to be given time to make this work.
It feels like once they, you know, can kind of glue themselves together, they'll be a dominant team to be forced with. And I'm actually interested to start this off in the jungle here because, you know, Captain playing instead of Chimin here. Chimin brought a lot of life to HYG last split when he came in halfway through the split. Captain's really lived up to that expectation as well. Whenever he comes into the jungle, it looks like, you know, brand new strength for the Saint lineup.
Yeah, he's a little bit more control. I mean, he does have a Nidalee, so, you know, he can play the carry, but a lot of Rek'Sai, a lot of Lucian. So we'll see whether that continues to be a thing. Going up against SofM, he's just going to be in your face. From what I know of SofM, I mean, tracking his GPL days, seeing him at one of his first international tournaments being IWCA, where he just got to put on a clinic. I got to watch that one live. And then what he did to Swift last week. This is a young jungler that really has a chip on his shoulder, I think it's fair to say, and looks to dominate his opposition and does play a huge carry role. So he'll play things like Graves that will farm up and just be a late game monster. And he really did prove that against Newbie, who did not give him the respect he deserved.
Which is why I really feel this is where the contrast is, because, you know, Captain wants to control him. SofM doesn't want to be controlled. So it's going to be a very explosive matchup as we head into Champions League for game number 1 between Snake and Saint. So far, Swain and Ryze already been taken off the table by Snake and Saint. That's a lot of S's.
There's a couple of S's in there.
Lots of A's as well.
But this isn't really surprising. Acorn has shown that he likes to go towards a Ryze pickup, Swain pickup, and played it against Invictus Gaming in their win. Played it once against EDG as well in a loss. But I think that is a champion that he's shown that he's just, on the red side especially, he will take it first rotation every time.
And Swain was one of those champions, you know, slipped through picks and bans for a couple of games here and there, and then now has been solidified as one of the major picks up in the top lane and mid lane, as Caitlyn is going to be banned out here against Saint, targeted towards styz, where their only win so far in the LPL was when styz picked up Caitlyn against Invictus Gaming.
And he's a huge Caitlyn player. This is what the guy was known for, you know, so getting rid of that control. Once again, Saint is a team that they look to try and build on you, and giving them control champions like Caitlyn, like Swain, that scale into the latter stage of the game is a danger. So respect given to the team, and Snake just trying to get that away.
Well, we'll have to see what Saint can use besides that Caitlyn for styz. Is they take away Nidalee. They do not want SofM to be playing that jungler as Vladimir. Another interesting ban from the top and middle lane that we have been seeing, you know, come here and there in the LPL so far.
And Vladimir is actually ridiculously versatile. I mean, we've seen everything from dash cannon, full AP Vladimir, to like Warmogs. I think Xerath in the North American LCS bought a Randuin's on him one game. Like, this guy, he's a monster. Like, you can literally build him tank, and his E and Q does so much damage still. And not to mention the health you get back. So I think that Vladimir is one of those champions that is slightly overtuned right now, and I'm glad to see people paying attention.
Well, that means that Lissandra's going to be the final ban coming out from Saint here, and Snake They lock in Azir as their first pick. A little bit surprising. I thought Kindred would definitely be the pickup coming from them straight away. That might give Saint an opportunity.
Well, remember Kindred, Graves, both still available, and we've seen in the past at least that people don't mind running Graves into Kindred. However, there is one huge control mage left up, which was the Azir, so they want to take that away. I mean, Tank gets targeted a little bit with the Ryze as well as the Lissandra, so they want to make sure he's on comfort. Snoopy, of course, still has the Victor to go back towards, so that's not a huge deal, but getting Tank on comfort is good, because we've always said Snake will play as good as their mid lane plays, so he needs to be set up for success.
He's going to be picking up Azir into this one. It's still 6.10, so his ultimate still has a very long duration, hasn't been chunked down to 3 seconds just yet, as Saints still waiting to pick up their first 2 picks in their first pick rotation. For now, Karma and Graves seem like their picks of choice.
And this is really interesting because we said, Nidalee should be priority, but apparently Saint agree that, Graves can be played into it a little bit better. In the tanky stats, he becomes more of a bruiser, whereas Kindred is very much that DPS threat. And Karma, in my opinion at least, has just turned into like the premier pokey support. Also means you don't have to play Sivir because the AoE speed up is just so invaluable late game.
And Lucian and Ekko are going to be the instant lock-ins coming in for Snakey. They already see the jungler picked up from the side of Saint. Don't need to pick up one just yet. Instead, locking one of the strongest top laners and one of the strongest AD carries in the current meta.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Flandre always likes to dominate his lane, so getting him that bully, especially in a blind situation, is a good news story.
Meanwhile, Saints, they're going to lock in Ezreal for STYZ as their AD carry of choice. And it seems like they're looking to pick up Victor as their mid laner, the other control mage left up. And as I said, they're going to swap it over. So we have to see what they decide to pick up during their next pick rotation. Still looking for their solo lanes, it seems, unless we see Karma move into the mid lanes. Maokai is their lock-in of choice.
And wow, Maokai taken into Ekko. It's not a great matchup for the Maokai, to be honest, but maybe means that they're looking to lane swap. A tactic that used to be very popular into Azir, who is a shoving mid lane, is, lane swap, take the turrets early, rotate your mid laner into a side lane where Azir can't follow, and make teleport plays around the map. So we'll see whether Saint do go for a 1-3-1 setup and try and collapse on this Azir at every possible moment.
Well, we'll have to see if they can do just that. As they're still waiting for Snake to round out their team composition with their final 2 picks. It's going to be a Rek'Sai and a Braum lock-in here for the Snake lineup.
All right, now I'm excited because this means that SofM should be able to flex his versatility. I mean, we saw him on 2 carry junglers. What can the man do on utility? Haven't seen his Rek'Sai in a very long time, Fish, and see whether he's able to still play it to an incredibly high level.
We'll have to see that, but so far Snakes, their lineup is just looking pretty dominant so far. A lot of very strong power picks coming in from the Snake squad as we still wait for Saint to pick their final pick in their team composition.
Yeah, they do have a pretty powerful composition. When you have a look at what they want to do, they recognize that, the Azir is never going to be able to go into a side lane, get the Rek'Sai to be able to match the low-pressure side of the 1-3-1 if he wants to be with her semi-global ultimate. Pretty good dueling potential throughout all stages of the game as well, with a heck of a lot of control from Azir.
This is not going to happen, is it?
Maybe.
Please tell me this is not going to happen. It is going to happen. Xerath is going to be locked in here for Saint. And that's going to be their mid lane pickup of choice going on over towards Snoopy.
Yeah, something that used to be run into Azir every single game in the LPL. Of course, Xerath hasn't seen competitive play for quite some time due to hard engage being available from the top lane. But when you look at Snake's lineup, there's really all not that much hard engage. So we'll see how Xerath works out with the changes in itemization. I mean, get a heck of a lot of damage out of the Morelionomicon at the moment. It's 100 AP. Going Death Cat Void.
Cooldown reduction all over the shop now. Yeah. Any item just gives you that extra 10%.
There's no way he's going Abyssal or Zhonya's. Let's get realistic. This guy hits you from 3 screens away and has always been that counter pick against Azir. Azir wants to control your lane. Xerath just doesn't let that happen.
We'll have to see if Snoopy can stop Tank from being the control mage that he wants to be in this matchup, as the team compositions have been locked in for these 2 teams. It's just interesting curveball thrown by Saint here. Very standard team comp coming out from Snake, though.
Yeah, I think so as well, but a great poke composition. I mean, we love poke comps with Maokai due to that disengage. Karma, Ezreal, Xerath, that's fantastic, and they've got a good ganking jungler to be able to control. in Captain's Graves. If he can force SofM out of that river control, you know, dictate the stage of the early game, the siege will be real out of Saint.
Well, let's see how Saint can siege against Snake as we're going to head into game number 1 of this best-of-3 series for the first match that is here tonight. And they have loaded onto the Rift for game number 1 between Snake and Saint. The first match of this best-of-3 between the two teams. And the first match that we have here in the LPL for week number 3.
Hey man, let's go further than that. First match I've seen Xerath in a friggin' long time. This guy has been locked in a tomb somewhere waiting to escape and unleash power. But doing it against the Emperor of Shurima won't be too easy.
So we are going to take a look at the Keystone Masteries very quickly. No further battle, resurging up into the top lane. We'll see a lot of Fizzes and Echoes pick that one up. Thunderlords is the pickup for the Xerath that's coming into the mid lane. Azir picking that one up as well.
Yeah, and it just gives you really good kill threat. The Fervor is what I've... You know, people have been talking about the merits of the trading potential of the Grasp of the Undying versus the Fervor, and Fervor just gives you serious kill threat.
We'll have to see if Flandre can use that kill threat up in the top lane. He is up against Acorn on this Maokai, who's throwing down a couple of saplings here over at the Razorbeak camp.
Fire Maokai as well. One of the better skins. And he's going to give them over, it looks like. Actually, depends if he took AP. If he took AP, that's going to kill them. If he didn't, it's just going to give him over.
Could be giving it over to Snoopy. Nah. So that's going to be given over to Maokai. Picks up a little bit of experience to start off the game here. As we're going to see standard lanes come out from these two teams, not opting to go for a lane swap on either side of the map.
Yeah, and this is what we said, you know, changes to experience makes that a little bit hard. I thought seeing a Maokai that might be a possibility, but not going for it this time around. SofM not going to clear the blue buff. Doesn't give you that much more experience, and you know Rek'Sai doesn't really need it in the early game. Also hits a lot harder, so electing for a quick jungle clear. And we'll see whether he's able to get ahead of Captain, really secure control of that river and start bullying people out.
Yeah, he's already moved down towards the bottom side of the map as Captain, still waiting to clear out that red buff. As we take a look down at the bottom lane really quickly here, both AD carries and supports were able to take a camp at level 1. Krugs going on over to the side of Snake, and the Grump being taken down by Saint there. So far, just farming it back and forth. As we see action up in the top lane already, we can see Flandre putting some work down on towards Acorn up in the top lane.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's that Fervor coming in, right? You proc it up, you get it stacked nice and early, and you're able to dominate people. But in saying that, it is a Maokai, so not really all of that much going to come from it. And SofM doesn't even do his red buff, actually just really wants to gain control of the neutrals on Summoner's Rift right now, so it goes straight to a Rift Scuttler, doesn't want to be invaded. And we'll see whether he goes to give over an early blue to Tank, who is putting some work into Snoopy right now.
This is some interesting pathing coming up from SofM. He moved, you know, like you said, didn't take the red buff.
No, he's just going for both Rift Scuttlers. So he just he wants complete river control. As we said, one of the things that Rek'Sai can be punished for is, you know, if you can get out, you know, counter gank her, put down a lot of pressure, it's not going to be a good news story for Snake, and SofM kind of just shuts all of that down.
Now he's moving in towards Graves side of the jungle. In fact, gets there as soon as the Krugs respawns. So going to be able to do a little bit of counter jungling for himself as we take a look back towards the mid lane here. Tank, like you mentioned earlier, putting some work down on towards Snoopy here, poking him out as early as possible in this lane.
That is some great jungle pathing from SofM. He has these camps on literal lockdown.
Is this going to spawn as soon as he gets there as well?
Nah, he's a little bit early for that one. Might be going for a gank, we'll see. Remember, he did red buff in between.
Could definitely wait for it. SofM being very patient so far on his Rek'Sai.
He did get spotted out without a red buff, I believe, by a sapling, so this is a little bit tricky.
Snoopy is really far up in this mid lane, though. SofM, very, very patient.
He's a patient man. But gank coming in from Graves first.
He's going to try and jump on top of his tank there. Puts a little bit of damage down, and so does Snoopy. Chips him down quite a lot there. As SofM, decides not to go for that gank. Instead, takes away the Razor Beaks, and he hasn't picked up a single buff just yet.
No, he hasn't, but he's still level 4, same as Captain, who doesn't want to face check that brush. Will instead get over to the other side of the map. Probably ward over, check if blue is still available.
Oh, he's inside SofM's jungle now, just wandering around. So far, it's just been these two junglers, moving around the map. Everyone else is just farming right now. SofM doesn't want anything to do with that top side of the map anymore. He's now probably going to go towards his red buff.
This is a bizarre early game out of SofM. He's gone back and picked up Chilling Smite as well, so we can expect a Sightstone build is the only thing I can expect from that, which is pretty standard at the moment, but doesn't really tell me why he left his red buff up for so long unless he wants to, I don't know, put some ganks in.
Well, for now, we're going to take a look at the bottom lane. We can already see Saints bottom lane, ST1Z and Shield putting on a lot of damage towards the Lucian so far. Lots of creep waves bashing on towards that turret. SofM now looking for a gank onto Snoopy. Gets him down low. Should be able to flash for this one. Does do just that. He picks up first blood.
Yeah, what a great gank out of SofM. We already mentioned the fact that Snoopy was falling low in this middle lane. He wards, just runs straight over the top of it and puts in work. So respect for the young jungler. He just keeps doing it somehow.
He's going straight back in towards Captain's jungle here. Tries to take away the Krugs. Had that one on timer there, it seemed. Not quite able to get it, but knows exactly where Captain is right now.
Yeah, and that's good news for Flandre as well, because he's just forced Acorn back, who's suffering a little bit in this lane as well. Has to burn an early teleport. And really, it is only Saints bottom lane that is a shining light. The rest of the map's still struggling.
Definitely is. Top side of the map looking really strong for Snake at the moment. You see, Ekko has gone back to base as well. Unlike the Maokai, does not have to blow his teleport to get back into the lane. He's gone for a Sheen as his first item pickup here, not opting for some defensive stats to start.
Yeah, just wants a kill threat, right? He already feels that he's enough ahead. It means he's not going to burn teleport. That's something that Flandre needs to keep up to help his other lanes out. Instead, he's going to look for some kill pressure and maybe look to make a teleport play somewhere around the map.
You can tell the observer does not want to stop following SofM around here. He's going to be able to pick up the Razor Beaks one more time as Snake's bottom lane still dying here. Snoopy going to put a little bit of damage down towards this Rek'Sai. Misses the stun.
Yeah, Snoopy's actually in a little bit of trouble. He's being bullied quite heavily. It's level 6 versus level 5 as well, and he's got no summoner spells. SofM is sticking around in this lane.
And there goes the ultimate coming in for tank there. He's able to pop back Snoopy. Snoopy gonna get taken down. No flash available this time. Captain, looking to try and fight them both, but he might have bit off a bit more than he can chew here as he takes a lot of damage from the Azir Rex, so will still be able to escape with his life.
Yeah, Shu had actually left bottom lane and was wandering up. That's why they didn't overcommit on it. But still, Snoopy falling down twice in the mid lane. That's not a good news story for Saint, because this is a counter pick. I mean, there's no other reason to take it unless you know that it wins the matchup, and it's definitely not turning out that way right now.
And we can see how that's already affected the mid lane. 58 CS to 35 so far. The Azir pretty significantly ahead. Both the kills went on over towards this man, SofM, who's slightly ahead in the jungle as well. He's about 9 CS up ahead of Captain. And that's mostly jungle minions. The only saving grace, like you mentioned earlier, Saints bottom lane. The Ezreal putting in some work towards Martha's Lucian right now.
Yeah, it certainly is, but he doesn't get the immediate power that the Azir does. And all of a sudden, this becomes a counter-jungling duo just running around and wreaking havoc. I mean, SofM still on those Krugs. I feel like that's his third time he's taken it away.
I feel like, lots of junglers, they time the red buff, they time the blue buff, time dragons.
SofM's timing everything.
Yeah, he's timing Razor Beaks, Krugs, Scuttle Crabs. He's got everything locked down. He's just taking the entire top side of the jungle away from Captain at the moment.
And that's why we were so excited to see this player. I mean, someone that, when you use an import slot on SofM, someone that played in what was a wildcard region in the GPL, you have to be confident in his play, but seen him a lot on the Korean server in solo queue. I'd seen him play competitively before. We knew he was good, but to go toe-to-toe with the best in the business, it's pretty impressive to watch.
Yep, he was able to get top 20 ranked in the Korean servers with, I think it was over 150 ping on that server as well. So he's a phenomenal jungler. He's proving that here in his second game for the LPL squad of Snake. So we move back towards the top lane here. Acorn and Flandre still duking it out.
And Acorn's actually starting to win this. So this is one of those things that Flandre might have bitten off more than he can chew, because he goes the early Sheen. He wants to have kill threat. Then Acorn starts smacking him in the head.
This is a bit interesting though, as we see Tank actually moving up to the top lane. Acorn takes a lot of damage from the soldiers that are being put down. Flandre tanks up a little bit, but this Maokai, he's going to get taken down. Flandre picks up a kill for himself.
Yeah, so in the end, that is another roam that comes off to the Benefactor. So this mid lane losing matchup starting to snowball into Snake's favor. I mean, that means that Acorn can leave. Tank can leave. He goes up into Acorn's lane, takes him down. They really do need to help Snoopy getting that push on and keeping Take under control, because this isn't something you should be able to do with Azir. Azir is the pusher in a lot of matchups, not the person that leaves.
And the top side of the map for Snake doing phenomenal right now. It's given them a 2,000 gold lead just 10 minutes into the game, but Snoopy is going to get jumped on. Cleanse actually being popped there by Tank. Flashes forward with the ultimate, takes a few turret shots. Going to be able to dodge out the first spell for Snoopy, not the second, as SofM gets that last auto attack to take down Snoopy in the mid lane. Now, trying to duel it out with Captain here, taking the Graves one-on-one, charging him underneath the turret here, gets a lot of damage down, flashes forward, gets the double kill there. What a big play from SofM.
SofM is a monster right now. He's 4-0 and 16 CS up in a jungle camp. He's going to tax the whole wave, shove it into the turret and go back. And all of a sudden, Saint are in a lot of trouble because this Rek'Sai is a serious threat.
I've missed you, SofM. You're absolute beauty to watch here in this game so far. Counter jungling, getting ganks off as, 4 out of the 5 kills in his team right now. Snake off to a really good start.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they look like a completely different lineup since the guy's been in the team. All of a sudden, Flandre teleporting down.
See a flash forward from Braum trying to get a tag on towards styz. Arcane shifts forward. Flandre forced to use ultimate, get out of there now. Saint were trying to look for a counter engage, but Culling comes out from Martin to stop them from advancing.
So the last lane, the last bastion for Saint right now being challenged.
Not like this. Not again.
Why not?
Snoopy's being camped here.
I mean, you may as well go for the play because you've already put him so far behind. He's down 25 CS. I mean, all of the good work that styz has been able to do has been completely undone.
Saints, just not able to stop or even slow down the bleeding just yet as they're falling further and further behind. A 3,000 goal lead at the moment for Snake. SofM move towards his red buff instead of continuing hanging out around the Razor Beaks, looking for more ganks on towards Snoopy.
We'll see whether he goes back there one more time. He has got the Ninja Tab. He's honestly huge at the moment. He's pretty much completed Boots 2 and Sightstone up over his counterpart in Captain. So this has been a pretty one-sided jungle affair so far.
You can take a look at the other items across the rift here. Still components for both Flandre and Tank here. Not completing any items just yet, as well as Martin. So Snake sitting on a lot of components of builds. Whereas Flandre, he's got his Spirit Visage picked up in the top lane. You can only see the double tomes coming out from Snoopy in the mid lane. Tank going to be able to take the blue buff, donate it away from SofM, moving back into the mid lane, farming up even more.
So the good news story for Saint right now is their top lane is pretty big. I mean, 100 CS at 12 minutes for a Maokai. That's good. You have a look at their 80 carry as well. He's massive.
Oh, God.
Really is just hard to watch this right now.
Poor Captain. He might get jumped on here as
He's
Rek'Sai
2 levels lower.
Put some damage down. He's now going to go 2-on-1 here against the Graves. Might have been a little bit more to chew, but he's looking for it. Gets a lot of damage down towards Captain. He's bleeding out from the red buff. Should be able to stay alive, but that was a 2-on-1 fight that Self picked up there. He's going to be able to take the red buff away as a gift.
He just walks at him and takes him out. Acorn now might need to be in a little bit of trouble because SofM's higher level than him. This is the second game in a row, by the way, that I've watched SofM be the highest level on the map.
For a jungle, that's an impressive feat. Normally you see them, just in between
Especially
the solo lanes and the bottom lane.
Right? Rek'Sai, sure, she's a good farmer, but she's not the best in the business. And right now, Acorn's being dove.
He's looking for more here as Maokai taking a lot of damage underneath this turret. Flandre trying to tank this one up as Tank moves in towards this top lane as well. Try to get some damage down on towards Maokai. Ultimate does come out. That final turret shot not going to be able to take him down. They are able to take down Acorn one more time.
And all of a sudden, I mean, they're just everywhere on this map. And looking nearly IG-esque how they play. Just this 3-man unit. Unfortunately, Martin, Jiezou, you're going to be left behind a little bit. 25 CS, but we are winning the map by 3,500 gold at only 13 minutes. And SofM is not done yet. He's level 11 versus level 8.
He's now looking for Snoopy here. Does get stunned up. Rek'Sai not going to be able to unburrow underneath the Xerath. Takes a little bit of damage in return.
And he just doesn't care. He's ignoring 2 members of Saint right now.
He's definitely got the items to ignore as much damage as possible with the Cinderhawk, Sightstone, and Ninja Tabi already being picked up.
And first turret of the game also has fallen down, so the gold lead not going anywhere quickly. In fact, it's growing quite rapidly.
4,000 gold in favor of Snake here. This is a tremendous lead just 14 minutes into the game. They're looking to try and shut out Saint very early into this matchup, and SofM is returning up into the top lane in Acorn. Did a twisted advance towards the Rek'Sai, but Tank's up here as well. Ultimate has been popped by the Maokai, trying to run away and soak up as much damage as possible. But there the Ascend Soldier's going down on towards this tree. He goes back in, looking for Tank. Ultimate actually coming out from Xerath here. He's going to try and take down the Azir, sorry, as he does get him down. They trade 1 for 1. But then on the bottom lane, we can see action taking place here. 3-on-3 has broken out. As styz going to get stunned up. Martin put some good damage down on towards this AD carry. Now looking for shield. The support has to flash away. Is going to get slowed down here. Flash forward from Martin. Picks up a double kill for himself. They're not done just yet. They're looking for Captain as well. Gets slowed down by Flandre, but is not able to use the ultimate in time and does get taken down.
Yeah, a couple of patches ago, Fish, we upped the mana cost of the ultimate just slightly, and it looked like Flandre forgot about that change because it didn't have enough mana to get back out. However, the damage is done because that's 2 kills over the AD carry. All of a sudden, that 30 CS hole that styz was trying to dig for Martin means nothing. And it's 5,000 gold nearly, the lead right now for Snake.
Huge lead for Snake at the moment. And we can actually see where all this gold is being pumped into.
And this looks like old school Snake, when they had Beast and Baka, you know, control the mid lane. That's what SofM did. Okay, translate that into shutting down their jungler. Captains had no impact this game. Get into the other lanes, you know, get Flandre ahead. He'll take care of the rest. He's very good at transitioning power to other lanes. And as I say that, SofM has, like, literally set up residencies with the Raptors. He wants to be a Raptor, you know. He dreams of the day that he can sprout his feathers and grow wings, but
he might as well at this point in the game.
He's got the most gold by far. He's got 2,000 gold more than his top laner.
And so it's absolute beast in this match so far. He's now finally gone back to base and just buys a straight-up Banshee's Veil. Just right off the bat, picks up another major item and goes straight back into his jungle using his ultimate to continue farming. Tries to bite a piece out of Captain there, who pops down the smoke screen and immediately quick draws away from the oncoming Rek'Sai.
But look at the aggressive pathing. All of a sudden, styz and Shu, they can't even be in their lane anymore because he just shoves them out completely. Moving back into Captain range again. Like, the disrespect and outright aggression being shown from this player is just, honestly, it's so nice to see.
All your jungler belong to us right now for SofM, which just takes absolutely everything away. Meanwhile, the rest of his team, you know, getting even further and further ahead off the back of the impressive jungle performance so far. They're looking to try and take down the first dragon of the game, being a mountain dragon.
And look at this, because they shove bottom lane out, they actually don't have sight on SofM right now. They have to leave the turret. That's another objective going down. SofM, meanwhile, he started up the dragon. It's not going to be long before they just look to outright dive Snoopy, and he has no way to avoid that.
And it's going to be another mountain dragon that spawns next, so luck of the draw coming in favor of Snake here as they get double mountain dragons matchup in a game that they're already controlling right off the bat. They're doing it fantastically so far. Saints, you know, got a lot of clawing to do here if they want to get back into this game. It's one more time. Snoopy and Captain going to try and go 2-on-1 against SofM, but he's got friends up this time as Braum pops down the ultimate. They're going to be able to take down Captain. That one goes over towards Jiezou, who picks up the kill. Flandre is going to soak up the turret and is able to get out there at the same time.
And now the rest of the team is just happy to get involved. SofM has done all of the hard legwork. The rest of Snake are collapsing beautifully. This team looks so much changed than the team we saw in week 1. We didn't know if it was going to be the outright collapse of Snake, but they seem to be back with a vengeance.
They definitely have, yes. You know, Saint, they're a squad that's rebuilding. They haven't hit their skill potential, but when you're being forced to be controlled this much by the Snake lineup, it's going to be really difficult to show any flair here in this matchup, as now Rift Herald is the next priority, the next objective that Snake are looking towards too.
But let's look at it. Like, this isn't like they've been outlaned. In fact, 2 of their lanes are up in CS. Their jungle is just 67 CS down, and when you only have 60 CS, Fish, that's quite a big deal. You throw the fact that he's 7 out of 10 kill participations on his team, and is forcing people off objectives as well. This is really a carry from the jungle position. And you don't often see it on a champion like Rek'Sai.
Yeah, we talked about him being really aggressive in his last 2 games on carry-oriented champions. You know, we saw the Graves, we saw the Kindred, And, this is, we thought, it's going to be different now. We can see him on Rek'Sai. It's just the same thing. He just plays it like he's playing Kindred or Nidalee right now.
Yeah, he certainly does, but building full tank, so he's even more frustrating to deal with. I mean, if he gets caught out of position, it doesn't even matter at this stage. Acorn fighting for dignity. That is my damn Krog. Get away from it. He does pick one up, so, that's a good news story.
Well, it's more than what they've had so far, as Captain's going to be able to take away the Wolf Camp, but that put styz in a dangerous spot there, forced to use his Arcane Shift to get over the wall. As the rest of Saint just scared of this Rek'Sai. They're using so much to try and force him out of the jungle. SofM just doesn't care right now. He's going for the Razor Beaks again. This is what he really wants. He's going to be able to get it as well. Smites it away from Captain.
And he is just frustrating Captain right now in his head. Honestly, he's going towards the Randuins. At that stage, I think he's unkillable. I think you just ignore him, hope he goes away, Honestly, I don't have the answer for it. Well, Baron has just spawned.
He wants everything here. SofM looking to try and take down the Baron buff as well. They're doing a pretty good job with this. It's the Sand Soldiers putting in some work here for tank. SofM tanks it up very nicely himself. Flandre going to jump in towards this pit too. It's
been pinged out. It's way too late.
20-minute Baron coming out from the Snake lineup.
What a comprehensive, classy victory. For a new player. I mean, how old was he when he started? 14, 13 years old?
Very young.
So young when he started playing professional League of Legends. And, it's really interesting to see him come to a major region like the LPL and just absolutely dominate.
He's grown quite a lot since he started playing, and, just year after year, gets better and better now, finding residency on the Snake lineup in the LPL, showing what he can do. Is once again looking to try and find a pick here. styz going to go forward. He's actually going to go underneath the turret here. SofM wants to try and take a piece out of this turret, gets chunked down instead. This is probably the closest they've been able to take him down. That Q that just came off from Xerath did no damage at all towards this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, but all he's trying to do is force them off turrets, right? He's just trying to make them back away, get that damage that really isn't going to regenerate. And see if he can force people away from objectives. The frustrating thing is every single time he goes back to base, he gets stronger and then he just teleports out one more time because he's got tunnels all throughout your jungle. There he goes, back to the Raptor camp. And he's still 1,300 gold up. He's 3,500 gold stronger than Captain.
He really wanted that Raptor camp. styz, I don't think you want Arcane shift forward towards this Rek'Sai anytime soon. Like you mentioned, you can take a look at the gold. He has the most gold in his team. He's got more gold than Tank right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I just don't know what else there is to say about this guy because there's a reason the camera's been on him for 99% of the game. I think that after, Captain's like, oh, what was my last fond memory in League of Legends? I got to take a red buff at level 2. That was a good time. I miss those days.
And now Flandre, we're going to watch him duke it out with Acorn down in the bottom lane. He's been left alone to try and farm this one out. Was able to take down the bottom lane inner turret as well during that time. Snake currently have 4 turrets to the none on the side of the Saint lineup. Just controlling the map very nicely.
And look at this, one more time. He's just looking to force people off turrets. He's walking behind, tanking everyone up. Now they're onto Snoopy.
Actually has to force the flash away there. SofM didn't even flash forward in return. So that's a flash down on the side of Xerath. Now, we're going to see Flandre jump into top lane. There's a flash forward from Jiezou. He's able to get the ultimate off. Snoopy gets taken down by 1 proc of the Sand Soldier. Now, Stu has to run away as the flash comes forward from Flandre, looking to try and jump on top of them. styz trying to do what he can as JC picks up the turret, but good ultimate comes out of Flandre straight on top of the support. Now looking for styz as well. He has the arcade shift out of there. This inhibitor is going to go down for Snake.
And in 23 minutes, Snake is 14,000 gold in the lead over Saint. And Flandre is now starting to put on a show as well. The whole team is just getting involved, and they look like they're on the exact same page. It started with this man on your screen, who still looks oddly serious for what is pretty much a solo-lane Rek'Sai at this stage of the game.
And a lot of people, they were a little bit confused because SofM coming in from Vietnam, had to come with an English and a Vietnamese translator to try and get things through to him. They thought, might be a little bit of communication breakdown in the Snake lineup, but like you mentioned, everybody just looking like they're on the same page here. Look like they're communicating fantastically too.
Yeah, and it's more a style of League of Legends than anything like little intricate detail. He's like, I'm just going to dominate their jungle. You can come with me or you can stay in your lane. either way, I don't really care. I'm just going to find him, and I'm going to take him out. And unfortunately for Captain, he was found out very early in this game.
It certainly was. We saw a very interesting jungle path coming over Rek'Sai right to start it off. It looks like he's timed every single Krug camp, every single Raptor camp, and now he's able to take down the second Mountain Dragon as well for Snake. Just 24 minutes into the game, they've got 7 turrets, 2 dragons, a 15,000 gold lead at the moment, and they're looking just to crash through Saint's base whenever they possibly can.
Yeah, exactly right. And right now, honestly, they've just got so many more items that they can't be stopped. It was a build that I thought it would be out of Snoopy, but I think we can put the Xerath in a failed category, just purely based off jungle pressure that came out, wasn't able to withstand that. And I think that next game you're going to have to be able to if you want to go toe-to-toe with this Snake lineup.
Well, we can see what he has. He has the Moronomicon and the components of the Rabadon's Death Cap, but on the side of Azir, he's got 3 completed items of the Nash's Tooth, Rylai's, and the Void Staff. It's SofM looking to be aggressive one more time. This turret gets obliterated. He flashes forward on top of Snoopy, slows him down as well. Sansol just not going to be able to pick up the kill onto the Azir. Ultimate comes out from Braum, trying to lock him down. Now Acorn, he's in the front lines, trying to soak up damage there. Flandre is going to jump in. Ultimate is going to come out of the Xerath. He's not going to be able to take anyone down, but Snake just clawing through the Saints lineup. They're able to take down 3 members. Only Captain and Snoopy left alive. That's another inhibitor going down. Snoopy gets delivered into his team. SofM picks up that kill. Captain just sits and watch as his base falls into shambles and rubble. And Snake are going to pick up game number 1 of this best of 3 series.
And unfortunately for Captain, there was nothing you can do when SofM was taking over your jungle, and there is nothing you can do as he kicks down your base. Now they have a little bit of a laugh, and Snake, look, honestly unstoppable in that first game.
Now, he said they had a little bit of a laugh. There was one guy that was still having a very serious face. That was SofM. He's still timing those Raptors, some people say, until this day. That was a clinical performance from the Snake lineup.
Yeah, that was an absolute shellacking, honestly. So, you know, there's